So as per usual, we have a tradition here at the Superhero Homies podcast. It's not a tradition by choice, at least not on our end. This is more of a tradition of things just happening as they tend to happen with us. And that is, we record an episode, we put it out, and then a bombshell drops. Well, the same thing has come back into play once again. I believe just a few hours after we finished recording last week's episode and put it out, which was a fun little foray. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. But as soon as we finished recording last week's episode, the news was released that Deadpool 3 actually has a release date of next year.
Yeah,
September 2023. That's a lot closer than anyone anticipated, especially seeing that, from the D23 press conference and also from the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel panels, there was absolutely nothing said about Deadpool, to the point where people were wondering what in the hell is going on with Deadpool and the MCU. Where the hell is the Deadpool movie at? So whether this was done on purpose or whether this was done by accident, I will never know. But apparently, amongst the many shufflings going on at Marvel, they have finally decided to let Ryan Reynolds release or give us news about the release date of Deadpool 3. So again, September 2023 as of now. Hopefully that date does not alter. But along with that, there was other news, and that other news being, of course, Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine. It sounds like for the last time, ... again.
Yeah, well put.
Yep.
Yeah, man, admittedly, that makes me really happy. Now, if you had asked me, which you have, in many past episodes, if I want Hugh Jackman to come back, I have said many a times on recording, nah, man, I'm content. I'm good. Mm-hmm. However, this was always the superficial excerpt from that statement. But if I could get him to come back for one project statement. And admittedly, him and Ryan Reynolds, I'm down for that action. Yeah.
Man, I'm very conflicted. I mean, obviously, I
choose not to be because I'm hopeful. I want a funny ass great movie.
Oh, well, so now the shoe's on the other foot. So now you're the hopeful one here,
I am.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers, me, damn it.
Cheers to that. But
admittedly, a lot of it's because I'm biased. Like, the Deadpool movies are fun. Mm-hmm. Are they my favorite? Nah, of course not. But they're fun as hell. And dude, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, we cannot highlight the fact that they are actually damn good, if not weird, friends in real life. And I cannot wait to see that chemistry come on screen next year. And so I got a lot of hope in that.
So do you think this is really the last time, or do you think that he would be brought into the larger MCU?
If Ryan Reynolds had his way, bro, this is the beginning of his career. and Hugh Jackman would just like forever be Wolverine and, whatever other fucking musical dumbass appearance he wants to make,
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, they're not bad movies, but I mean, Logan.
So I think that for myself, I view it a lot like El Camino and Breaking Bad. And that is, Breaking Bad, for me, I think it's the greatest television show of all time. And so when I heard that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould and the gang were releasing a movie on Netflix about what happens with Jesse after the events of the last season, I was very, very concerned about this because I thought that it was perfect as was. We don't need to touch it. We don't need to see anything more. We can use theater of the mind, our own imagination, to fill in the blanks about what happens with Jesse. But then we got El Camino, and El Camino was amazing. It was a tremendous movie. And I thought the same thing about Better Call Saul. Like, oh, man, here we go again. Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, they're coming back to do this Saul prequel show, which will also give us Saul's true ending about what happened with him after he fled. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to be, the same thing. And guess what? Better Call Saul was amazing. Now, I say all that to say that Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan, they simply don't miss. When they're in the Breaking Bad universe, they're amazing. But the greater subtext here is the fact that sometimes things should be left alone, but sometimes when that creative spark is there, then something amazing can truly happen. For example, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, I think that those two being in like an actual good movie together would be fucking gold. And I think that Marvel knows they have another $1 billion movie on their hands, one that will be rated R.
Hell yeah.
And now, with that being said, though, will this movie be better than Logan? Will it be a better send-off than Logan? And on one hand, you can definitely argue that that's not a fair thing to judge because they're going to be two completely different animals. Logan being this noir western, very drama-heavy send-off, and Deadpool 3 will most likely be a very fun, action, gory, comedic fest. And so they're two completely different things. You can argue two completely different genres within the superhero genre. And so to think about which one would be, a better quote-unquote send-off, I mean, they're just almost too different to compare. So, yeah, I'm really not sure exactly what we're going to get yet.
But.
Yes.
But.
Uh-huh.
X-Force Wolverine costume. What? Bring it home. Tell me you don't want to see the gray and black. Hell yeah.
I mean, sure. Sure.
I'm drinking a good brew. I'm happy.
Yep.
Yeah, just let me be happy.
I will not ruin your happiness. Yeah, I think that. I think it'll definitely be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun for sure. I don't know. Obviously, no one knows yet about what the movie's going to be. We don't know who they're going to be facing off against. We don't know if they're going to reunite the X-Force again or to what degree. We don't know hardly anything about this movie yet, other than Hugh Jackman will be in it. But man, what a very, very bold move. I mean, I say bold. It's the smart thing to do if you're Disney, especially to get Hugh to come back at least one more time. Now, some of the potential negatives of that is, what do you do about the actor who still inevitably has to come along and fill the shoes of Wolverine? I think that you're giving that poor guy a harder time.
Yeah, I agree with that. But hear me out. Hugh Jackman, another 12 years. I'm on fire tonight, man. My commentary is lit. Oh my gosh.
I'm taking that beer away from you.
It's not that strong even.
I know, you goddamn lightweight.
Nah, I'm just in a good mood, man. I needed this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This being the podcast itself.
Right.
Yeah, the beer's not that good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, man, I mean, in all seriousness, to answer your question, I don't disagree, and that is a downside, because inevitably the joyride, the member berries of Hugh Jackman being Wolverine again have to go dry sometime. Like, we can't ride the high forever, as much as we'd love him to. It's illogical. It doesn't make sense, especially when he doesn't want to do it anymore, because then you get the same threat that happened with our boy Chris Hemsworth and whatever the fuck Thor is trying to be now. So, in other words, homies, to clarify, what happens when you get an actor who doesn't want to do the role and thus makes compromises to quote-unquote do the role? So, that being said, yeah, I mean, that's just more of a mantle for the next Wolverine, whomever that's going to be, whomever that mantle falls on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna have a really hard time, and especially when you consider that Logan came out in 2017, so that's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you can argue that maybe people will always remember Hugh, and people will always love Hugh as Wolverine, but 5 years, that's a good time for conversations to start coming up about the next person to play the role, and then instead we get Hugh's coming back at least one more time, which kind of resets the cycle of somebody else having an easier time filling that mantle.
Right.
But I mean, with all that being said, like, I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I think the movie's going to be hella fun. I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear the conversations between Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Feige.
Right. That would be such a hilarious thing. Like, that should just be a fucking podcast by itself. Like, let me use all the X-Men. No. Let me use all the X-Men. No. I'll even let you CG them. Just let me use all the X-Men.
Right. I think that, and this is just me speculating here, guys. I have no evidence to back this up. I think that conversations probably got more heated than what people think between the two parties.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
In what regard?
I think that Kevin Feige and the fine folks at Marvel understand that Deadpool is a very popular brand that can make a lot of money.
Right.
But his brand doesn't fit the mold for what they're doing in the MCU. And so they were probably trying to compromise and make adjustments at first to make it something that is more palatable to everything else they have in giving us at the MCU. In other words, a PG-13 Deadpool.
Nope.
And I think that Ryan Reynolds probably shot that down immediately, because even though the Deadpool thing is obviously owned by Fox and Fox is now owned by Disney, Ryan Reynolds has so much creative control over Deadpool that when that whole deal went down, I don't know the litigation or the red tape, but you have to imagine that Ryan Reynolds still has a lot of creative control over what goes on with Deadpool.
Right.
And with that being said, Ryan Reynolds is in a rare position, I think, where he can put his balls on the table and say,
right.
Hey, Deadpool is my baby. I brought this movie to life with a fucking shoestring budget and made damn near $800 million on an R-rated movie, which had not been done.
Right.
And then he topped himself again with Deadpool 2, which I believe is the only R-rated movie to make over $1 billion.
That's a hell of a record.
Yeah.
And Disney can't ignore that.
Can't ignore that.
And dude, the fact they got Hugh Jackman on this shit, bro, that's another billion.
It's easily,
that's another Billy.
Yeah, easily another Billy.
That's another Billy.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, everybody. Not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But no, that's easily another Billy. And I mean, and also when you consider that, like, I was trying to think. Yeah, we may have seen this in X3, never mind. I was going to say, this could be the first time we get to see the Fastball special, because Colossus has been in the previous two previous two Deadpool movies. And now with Hugh in it.
No, this will be first, yeah.
We didn't see it in X3 in the Danger Room simulation?
I choose not to remember. So yeah, this will be a first. Yeah, I don't know which movie you're talking about. X3, is that a video game? I didn't learn that combo. I didn't type that in. Mm-hmm. Oh, see, this is the difference. You had that game system I didn't have yet.
Oh, okay.
Game box.
Yep, that's exactly what I had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was a game box exclusive, huh?
It really was. Oh, fuck me.
It is. I was just super ironic though that this happens to us again, because our cold open last week we spoke about the X-Men in the MCU.
Oh my gosh, we really fucking did. And the minute that episode gets produced, what happens? Big announcement. Disney drops a dick on the table and says, Deadpool 3, Wolverine and Deadpool. Fuck us all.
Yep.
With Hugh Jackman, like, oh, come on.
Like, son of a bitch.
Now, and here's the thing. That was such a good fucking press release. Hugh Jackman's locked in. He can't back out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not that he would, but yeah.
Not that he would, but at this point, it's like, if the man had any personal doubts, they have to be gone. Like, bro, you just sold this to the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and get those egg white omelets ready again and start back doing your deadlifts.
Your chicken and rice, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Fucking
yeah.
dude. Fucking
yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so happy.
Yes. They just call it X-Men Origins 2.
The originating.
The other thing that we need to talk about before we get things started proper here, that we get to talk about before we record, is earlier today, the Black Panther 2 trailer dropped.
Yeah.
Yes. Now we have both seen it.
We have.
What were your thoughts on the trailer?
I didn't mind it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple points where I have some questions. Some maybe illegitimate, but nevertheless concerns.
Okay.
So hopefully all you homies saw the trailer. If not, spoilers ahead.
Right.
I.e., in like 2 seconds. When did Namor get winged shoes?
He's always had those.
I don't fucking believe you. I do not remember that. Like, when the fuck did our boy become Hermes or some shit, flying around by his ankles?
You know, it's funny. I feel that, like, we talked about a comic book and you saw them and you asked this question before.
I don't believe it. I see we have a recurring theme tonight. And night, I remind you again, if I must, you heathen, I choose not to remember.
Okay, yep. So,
but no, in all legitimacy, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Like, what? What? What do you mean he's got winged feet, motherfucker? What?
Yeah.
He's a fish. He's fucking the Marvel Aquaman. What does he need wings on his feet for?
You also have to remember, Namor is half Atlantean, half mutant. So like, what he gets from what is who knows what. It's also why he's not blue and the rest of the Aqua folk are. But yeah, like Namor, yeah, since like 1940 or whatever, he's had the winged feet.
Go to hell, sir. I'm already done. What are we, fucking 17 minutes in on this? I'm done. I'm gonna break the fourth wall myself.
But no, I too thought that this was a really good trailer. I also have some concerns of my own that don't include anybody's feet.
Notice how little we saw. What's her name? Ironheart. Did I make that up?
Yeah,
is that her name?
that is her name.
Okay.
Williams.
I thought I made that up. Yeah.
I thought we saw her too much. just because I don't care to see. Like,
nice.
And you know what? Like I said before, man. Like most of my faith in this movie doesn't rely at all on the MCU. It's all in Ryan Coogler's court. Ryan Coogler has like never led me wrong, and I know that he had a hard time making this movie for various reasons, obviously. But I say all that just to say that they're gonna have a hard fucking time justifying Riri's presence in this movie.
Right.
It doesn't fit. Like,
look at us. We're Wakandans. We have the best technology. We're
going to war with Atlantis for various reasons.
Yeah.
Here's this girl in an Iron Man suit.
Doesn't it sell itself, folks? Yeah, no. With like inferior technology, unless it's a Wakandan Iron Man suit.
It probably is.
And why the fuck doesn't... I don't know, man. We've already talked about this in great detail, and of course, we're going to talk about this in a preview episode.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, folks. Expect it. But it's like, why wasn't the fucking Iron Man suit made into the Black Panther suit? And then Shuri, whom we know is going to be the next Black Panther, why didn't she just have the amalgamation of both? A Black Panther suit with vibranium fucking claws and vibranium metal plates and metal over Christ to the whole body, and Iron Man capability and tech. And I mean, obviously with Wakandan tech really being the motherboard here and whatnot, but it's like, why are we playing?
Yeah. Not sure. All I can say is that this movie is going to be 2 hours and 41 minutes, the longest in Phase 4. I think that the movie will justify its runtime. I like the long runtimes don't scare me, like some of you peasants out there.
It doesn't scare me.
No.
It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. The movie in general, not anything regarding the long time, but the movie in general has me a little worried. Yeah. Yeah.
So two major things that I really liked about this trailer. One, because of the nature of this movie and what they're really playing hard on, they did not do any jokes. And thank fucking goodness. Because not only am I tired of jokes in the MCU, they're not that good either. 9 times out of 10 now. They used to be. Yeah. Back when they, were done somewhat sparingly,
Right.
They were more effective, and it wasn't throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck.
Yeah.
But man, now, especially Phase 4, it is just like joke central. Like, how many jokes can we fit into a joke?
The best actual funny movie was the third Spider-Man. Like, that actually had legit funny scenes, which, like, wait a minute, what are those? Oh, these are our web canisters.
Oh,
you know?
right,
like that,
right,
was, like, that's one example of many in that movie that was like, oh, you're actually funny. Good shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, because that movie really did a great job of balancing out tones. As a whole,
Brother, it reenacted the fucking meme.
it did.
It's
yeah,
great. And that's gotta be glorified. That's pretty cool. You know?
Yeah,
But
100%.
that's and actually, wait, technically, which studio was in charge of that movie again? Remind me, please.
Okay, I suppose it'd be Sony.
There you go. There you go. Have a drink, buddy.
But I mean, I don't know whose call it was to, I don't know who to give the credit to for that movie being so good. Because Sony also made Morbius. And the MCU hasn't been on a hot streak either. So I don't know how the fuck No Way Home ended up being so good.
You multiply two negatives, you get a positive. Come on. What are we doing?
But yeah, so I really loved how, like, this new Black Panther trailer highlights that, okay, we're trying to be more serious here. This is a fucking war going on, and we're mourning the loss of our king, our son, our brother, T'Challa. He's gone. So I loved how they're not going down the jokey joke route. Mm-hmm. It's so refreshing. And two,
plus Angela Bassett would have their asses.
Oh yeah.
She wouldn't stand for this shit.
I would like to say that both of the things that I'm highlighting that I really enjoyed, like, are things that shouldn't have to be highlighted, but they should just be like no
Standard.
shit.
Yeah. Expected.
Right. And the second thing is, as you mentioned earlier, they're making Shuri Black Panther.
Yeah.
Which again, like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, she's the only, like, like we talked about before. And I understand Marvel is in a
It's
very
M'Baku. Could you imagine?
Yeah, that shit wouldn't make any sense. But it's just seeing the state that the MCU is in, they're not in the position right now to have any kind of easy decision to make. Because what do you do in a situation like this? So I do understand that they have a very hard decision to make in terms of what to do with the character of T'Challa, and they chose to kill off the character, which again I still disagree with, but also okay, I understand. It's a hard decision to make. So if you're going to kill off T'Challa, that literally only leaves you with one viable option, and that is Shuri. And not only is Shuri, canonically speaking, your only candidate that you can go with, she was also a standout in Black Panther 1.
Right.
So
crowd favorite. Too.
Yeah. Exactly. So how could you not go with Shuri? And man, the fact that MCU had me fucking over here sweating that they wouldn't go with Shuri says a lot. But thankfully, that's the decision they're going with. Shuri is Black Panther, as she should be. With that being said, there is like another pseudo negative that I have. Is something that I say half jokingly and half serious, and that is, man, I think this trailer makes Namor look a bit like a bitch. And and what I mean by that is we can assume that Atlantis has been there since day one of the MCU.
Right.
There's been several little Easter eggs sprinkled all throughout the MCU that maybe indicate the existence of Atlantis being there. Now, that being said, Civil War, Namor don't do shit. Black Panther, Namor don't do shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, T'Challa's dead. Time to rise up.
Right. Right. Namor said, all right, bet. Let me get my spear. Right. My trident.
But no, I say that just have jokingly, but yeah, it is just kind of something interesting to note there. Like, now you want to rise up. That's interesting. One more thing I want to talk about with the Black Panther 2 trailer, and we'll get your thoughts on this as well, and then we'll move on to the main course. And that is recently the actor, and you guys have to forgive me, I still cannot remember and or pronounce his name, the actor who's playing Namor. I promise I'll have it semi down by the time the movie comes out. But the actor who's playing Namor, he recently stated in an interview that Namor is not a villain. And here's the thing. How many not villains have there been in Phase 4 of the MCU? I feel like damn near all of them. Right. Taskmaster. That's a not villain. And what I mean by that, guys, is like, oh no, this person is either misunderstood and or a victim. They're not really a villain. So Taskmaster is one of them. Icarus was one of them. Scarlet Witch was one of them. And I mean, I feel that like this phase is just full of non-existent villains. Like, no one wants to be a fucking heel anymore. Everybody wants to be misunderstood or, a victim of other circumstances. Nobody wants to be a villain.
Right. And forgive me for being the white guy to talk about this. I feel like I'm already going to bastardize myself. And so please forgive me if I do. But I feel like, and this is speculation. If I'm right or wrong, cool. Doesn't matter to me which way. But as speculation, verbally, with the power of these microphones and this podcast platform, I honestly think, to a large degree, and I think you would agree with me, that one of the many reasons that in this particular case, our boy Namor is not going to be casted as a purebred villain or heel, as my wrestling buddy here puts it, but instead the misunderstood, who by the end of the movie is going to have plenty of time in 2 hours and 41 fucking minutes to turn his story around and be the pseudo good guy and thus another hero of the story. Oh, I thought you were going to sneeze. I feel that they don't want to put any particular race that's finally getting a large leading role in a movie as the negative, as the bad. Because I see here the actor, Tenoch Huerta. I believe that he would be, let's double check it here.
I will let you pronounce the name from henceforth.
I got you. Yep. He is Hispanic from actual Mexico, which is great, which is cool, and I love that. And I actually agree with the idea that, sure, if we are to have these inclusive movies, don't try to portray any one race as like, fuck these guys. They normally play the villains. Like, don't stereotype them, sure.
Right.
It's unfortunate it's happening again in Marvel, is what we're making fun of, what I'm making fun of even. But it's like, this guy here, I can understand where it's like, we don't want to typecast a villain because people might assume that we're saying that about the Hispanic race, is what Disney would think. Whereas you and I would be like, no, it's Namor. He's supposed to be kind of bad.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's, black, white, Mexican, whatever. In the comics, he was always a white asshole. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I always viewed Namor as being Asian. Like from...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like Asian American. Yeah, like a Pacific Islander maybe.
Maybe, or like a little bit Japan.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Japanese to me. I don't know. Just from some of the facial features.
Are you sure he wasn't Roman?
Okay, get the fuck out of here.
I'll go to bed now.
Thank you.
Okay, I joke, Holmes. I joke. Look it up. But no, I mean, I think it's awesome that we do have a leading role as a Mexican actor. I think that's really cool. I believe it's the first time that we have something like this in the Marvel Universe, which is cool, which is awesome.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of another hero. I mean, it definitely wasn't no Steve Rogers, So, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe you're onto something. Maybe that is something that they're hinting at there, which I didn't think of. But that kind of makes me think about something else. A conversation that we had, I don't know, man, maybe a year ago or so. I don't remember what the context was, but we were actually having a similar conversation about how even that early on in Phase 4, like a year or so ago, we were noticing that there's a lot of non-villain villains.
Right. And that sucks.
And the topic of Magneto came up, and we said, well, what the fuck are you gonna do when you bring in Magneto? Because the guy who really kind of capitalized that type of character, he's not gonna mean anything by the time the MCU brings him in, because yes, he's actually one of those who is a non-villain villain. Like, he does horrendous shit, which cannot be ignored. But if you look at his characterization and the way that he's been treated throughout his life, you understand why Magneto. You can reasonably understand why he does some of the shit he does. I'm not saying that it's justifiable, but you see where he's coming from. And I'm like, you guys are wasting that card on so many other villains.
Yeah.
By the time you get to Magneto, it's not going to mean anything. And so with Namor, to a lesser degree, he's a victim of that as well, because Namor, to a degree, yeah, he can also play that same card. The issue is that everybody's playing that card.
Yeah.
Every villain now wants to be the misunderstood victim who wants to turn a new leaf or whatever. And I'm like, you guys got to remember, superhero homies rule number one, like, adhere to the integrity of the character. At all cost, the one thing that should always be preserved is the character's integrity. How's this character behaving? Mm-hmm. Are you really holding true to the nature of this character? At their core, at their essence, are you guys really giving us Namor? I want Namor. I was excited when you guys announced Namor, and I want a true Namor.
Yeah.
And that means he's got to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
He can be a dickhead who fights good or bad, but he's got to be a dickhead.
And a know-it-all dickhead, like someone
who's very pompous. Yeah,
exactly. Someone who's like, "No, I am better than you.
Right.
I am Prince Vegeta.
Yeah.
Like, I am the best.
Right.
Bitch, I am the hype." Yeah.
But yeah. So that's just a little bit there about Black Panther 2. Again, as it stands, I'm gonna go ahead and put my card on the table, and this is a wild card, but. If any superhero movie this year stands a chance of beating the Batman, it'll be Black Panther 2, but that's going to be a very, very tall order for that movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be significantly difficult without T'Challa. I'm just putting that out there.
And when does this movie come out now?
November 11th.
Okay.
So the 10th for most of you guys.
Yeah.
But so we will see what happens with that. Hopefully that movie is amazing, and hopefully it just blows it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, guys. So with that being said, we have another very special episode for you guys. But to bring this thing in proper, welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another night. Yeah.
We are here on this very special occasion to discuss a very, very special story in the Batman mythos that is going to be featured in an upcoming video game called Gotham Knights. And the story we are talking about tonight is none other than the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
I hope you guys like that sound effect, because every time we mention said name, it may or may not get pressed. I can't make any promises.
Motherfucker. I'll knock your water off this table. The first couple thoughts were like too violent, so I'm like, it's not worth that.
See?
Fuck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll just knock your water off.
Oh.
Which you still don't want.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm glad the top is on right now.
Okay, yeah. It is on.
But for those of you who are not familiar, Court of Owls is the first story in what was the DC Comics New 52 era. It was written by Scott Snyder and drawn by Greg Capullo. And it kicked off a very, very fun and eventful run of Batman comics that was extremely enjoyable. To put it simply, guys, the Court of Owls is essentially a cabal of the rich elites in Gotham who have been operating and controlling things behind the scenes for centuries. Think of them as an Illuminati-type group, but they are extremely evil, extremely ritualistic, and extremely manipulative in their actions and in what they do. The Court of Owls, by most readers, are considered to be a modern-day classic. I myself agree with that. I think that it is a fantastic Batman story. I think that the Court of Owls, they are definitely best portrayed within those 12 or so issues that they are in the Batman Scott Snyder run. The Court of Owls have come back in varying degrees after this run, but to lesser degrees of success. It is interesting how, like, with with a lot of comic books, hell, with a lot of anything, movies or anything, if you have like a hit like that, whenever you try to capture it again by bringing them back, it's never quite as good. But Court of Owls, kind of the same thing here.
Yeah.
But no, by most people's standards, the Court of Owls is a fantastic story. It is definitely one of my favorites, and I'm a huge Batman fan. So that goes without saying that the Court of Owls is a story that I think is incredibly fun. If you guys have not read it yet or learned anything about it, I highly suggest you guys check it out. There would be full spoilers, by the way, for the Court of Owls story here tonight. So if you guys do not want to be spoiled by it, I suggest you pause this episode, read the story, and then come back and check it out. But with that being said, are we ready to get into the Court of Owls?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is actually a rare situation where you have multiple copies of the same book because you're an addict. And
first of all, I am not an addict, and second of all, you say rare? I have so many duplicates.
No. Okay. You mean in general of your entire collection? Mm-hmm. Well, I was trying to give you some credit, but I mean that just makes you sound more like an addict, bro.
How fucking dare you? How dare you?
I dare.
I will not sit for this.
Okay. You can stand or sit, bro. I mean, I'm sitting for this. I'm very comfortable with this podcast right now. Yeah. Holding this copy, which is different from the copy you're holding. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Hey.
Yeah? Hey.
I got that copy. That copy is like 10 years old now.
Okay.
This copy recently came out, and it's like a few months.
Tell the homies what you're holding.
Okay. I'm holding the New 52 Batman Omnibus Volume 1. Yep. And Kevin is holding the original trade paperback Volume 1.
Indeed. This is actually how I was introduced to the Court of Owls in general, through this trade paperback.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Because this was all you had at the time.
Right.
Though now you have the luxury of the big old Omni to keep you warm at night.
Indeed.
Yes.
It does keep me warm because it's extremely heavy.
It's a fat-ass book.
It's a fat-ass book.
It's a Bible of Batman, but
yes.
Scott Snyder's take. This is gospel of Scott Snyder's Batman.
I mean, Bible is Latin for collection of books, right? So, I mean... Yeah. Well, it checks out.
I think not Latin, but Hebrewic. So, there you go. It's derived from Hebrew, I think. Which, I don't know. I'm guessing that off his story. I don't know. Fuck me. We're not the,
bibliographers.
Scriptorians. Oh,
yeah.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, we're both saying nice words.
Yeah, there we go. But yes, my specialty is in the superhero shits.
Indeed. Oh, I'm sorry. Please keep talking. Yep. Don't listen to my juvenile laugh. Oh, fuck me.
So first of all, we will not be breaking down like every event of all 15-ish issues of this story. Yeah. Just like the main plot threads. Yeah. But with that being said, it gives us a little bit of breathing room here, Kevin, to talk about something that I found to be extremely interesting about the Court of Owls. And it gives us room also to talk about something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And if they are, it's just not spoken about that much. And that is Grant Morrison's Batman run. Okay. I don't know if you've had the pleasure to read that, but Grant Morrison's Batman run comes out before Scott Snyder's. As a matter of fact, at the end of Grant Morrison's Batman run is when the New 52 is introduced. We get like Grant Morrison's Batman run and Grant Morrison's Final Crisis. And, shortly after those events, we get a whole reboot with the New 52. But the reason that I'm bringing up Grant Morrison's Batman run is, are you familiar with a group called the Black Glove?
No. I've heard of Black Mask, which was a great movie, but nope, not this.
Great Villain, you mean?
No, great movie. Yeah. The Johnny Depp movie.
Oh, that was Black Mass.
Oh, yeah. S removed the K.
Yes.
Gotcha. But yeah, I've heard of that, but not no glove.
Yes. So, the Black Glove, like this was a whole group and a whole storyline in Grant Morrison's Batman run. And what the Black Glove is that they are a group of wealthy elites who are running things behind the scenes, and they are controlling things behind the scenes as well. They perform a lot of evil, demonic-ish, ritualistic, rituals essentially that they're trying to bring forth like some kind of great evil. And now, to me, when I think about that, because I recently reread Grant Morrison's Batman run like less than a year ago, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind. But when I was rereading The Court of Owls in preparation for this episode, my mind kept going back to Grant Morrison's run on Batman and the Black Glove. Because the Black Glove and the Court of Owls, if you ask me, are extremely similar. And I'm like, not enough people are talking about the similarities between Black Glove and the Court of Owls. Like a group of wealthy elites who are operating behind the scenes, but the similarities don't stop there. And again, full spoilers here for Court of Owls. But throughout the course of Court of Owls, we learn that one of our characters here that's introducing this story, his name is Lincoln March. Come to find out, he too is working with this cabal, the Court of Owls. And in Lincoln March, we also discover, in the big finale of the Court of Owls, he and Batman fight. And it's here where Lincoln March, he introduces the idea that he is actually Bruce Wayne's brother. And the
amazing that didn't stick. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did, so
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
damn, Bruce.
And no, Bruce didn't kill him. But in Grant Morrison's Batman run, there's a character by the name of Simon Hurt. And Simon Hurt, in like their big climactic fight, reveals that he is actually Thomas Wayne, that he never fucking died, but through means of certain chemicalistic properties that lie beneath Gotham, he has survived, and he's been alive for a long fucking time. And so with both the Black Glove and the Court of Owls, you have this evil cabal operating behind the scenes in Gotham, okay. And you have a person who stands out amongst them, almost a leader of sorts, who claims to be family related to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And as I was rereading Court of Owls, I was like, why in the fuck didn't the Black Glove storyline stick, and why in the fuck aren't people talking about how Scott Snyder had to obviously take influence from Grant Morrison's Batman run? Like, it is obvious. Yeah. It was just a very interesting kind of the discovery that I stumbled upon here, because the similarities here are just uncanny, extremely uncanny. But with that being said, Kevin, I don't know when the last time is that you read Court of Owls, but what did you think of the story when you read it?
Bro, whenever I first read the story, which admittedly has been some time, it was phenomenal. Because it had to be. It was a driving force that made me want to read the rest of the New 52 Scott Snyder run, And whenever you got those books in, I would selfishly take them the second you were done with them and go read them too, And that was all because book one here leads into the idea and the whole, collection of what is the Court of Owls so well. Mm-hmm. It was such a mystery, such a grandeur. And it's such a cool thing that kept under Batman's radar for so long of his professional crime-fighting career that it was daunting. How could they do that? How could this be such a power wheelhouse? And then, how could it become such an immediate and lethal threat? Something that was putting even our experienced, technologically advanced, and fucking allied Batman with so many Robins in his disposal. how could it put him to threat? And it did. And it's visceral. It's great. It's part supernatural even at times. Very, very interesting how it kind of delves into the psyche a little bit at times. But yeah, dude, that was the Court of Owls for sure. Very cool. Very unique. Now, I can't speak as to your earlier statements as to why Grant Morrison's didn't stick, but this did stick. If I had any guess, any lighthearted theory as to why, it would be because that this was the new 52, something that, if I recall the history correctly, DC trying to use to reestablish their storylines, and thus Grant Morrison just became a victim of bad timing.
Yeah, that could definitely be it.
Yeah.
And I often also wonder if like Grant Morrison feels any kind of way, like, hey, the Court of Owls is essentially my goddamn story.
Right.
Like I did this like 3 years ago. But no, yeah, so just to get into the story proper, guys, it starts off here essentially with Batman, and he is having like a fancy shindig at Wayne Manor. And while he's at Wayne Manor, he's trying out these new contacts. It's kind of interesting. They're somewhat similar to the contacts that we see in the Batman movie that came out earlier this year. But these contacts have like a satellite link upgrade to them so that whoever he looks at, he can scan, and the contacts will tell him via the satellite information who this person is, what their affiliation is, and all that. And the reason why that's so brilliant is because A, Bruce Wayne would totally have something like this, and B, New 52, you have to remember, was also created to bring in new readers. And so this was a way to exposit to new readers who certain characters were without it being kind of like a weird, why is this here thing.
Right, yeah. Very clever.
Yeah.
Especially the first time we see it on that page, if I remember correctly, it was like with the 3 Robins, which longtime readers, we know the 3 Robins. We could win that in a lineup any day of the week.
Yeah. Jason Todd was not here.
Jason Todd was not here. Yeah. But the Robins at the time, which were, of course, our boys, Dick, Tim, and
Damian.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The legacy, the wise, and the little shit.
Hey, you don't need to call Dick a little shit like that.
Wait a minute.
Just joking, of course. But while he's here at this little foray, he announces this huge thing that he's doing with, of course, his own Wayne Foundation, and that is he is putting a lot of his money, and he has a lot of donors and sponsors who are also putting money into this initiative that will essentially rebuild the infrastructure of Gotham City, essentially from the ground up. So, think like a lot of the maybe dilapidated areas of Gotham, or a lot of the places that need money infused into them to kind of upstart jobs or rebuild buildings, shit like that. He's putting a lot of money into that, and a lot of Gotham, as a result, was going to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
And this was his whole idea. Now, little did Bruce Wayne know that this would be the catalyst for why he would begin to be hunted by this group of assassins. But anyways, while he's at this foray, he's approached by this guy named Lincoln March, and Lincoln March is running for mayor. And he's very charismatic. He's seems like a very, very nice guy. And he and Bruce are talking, and Lincoln is like, I really hope, Bruce, that I can get your vote, blah blah blah. And Bruce is like, I'm really thinking about it. I like your policies and I like what you're saying. But at the same time, Bruce is looking over at Commissioner Gordon, who was on the phone, and by reading his lips, he's able to interpret that Commissioner Gordon is talking to somebody about a recent murder that has taken place.
Yeah.
And with that, Batman's like, or I should say, Bruce is like, oh, well, good talking to you, Lincoln. We'll set up a meeting tomorrow at the old Gotham Tower. But I gotta go. I gotta go take a shit or whatever. I
gotta take a shit.
Sir Bruce makes himself scarce. He gets into his Batman outfit. He goes to this crime scene, and here he meets Harvey Bullock. Of course, we all know Harvey Bullock, the hard-nosed detective for the GCPD. And it's here that Harvey Bullock shows Batman this murder scene, and it is this this guy, he's a John Doe, because he essentially has like no, no recognizable fingerprints that can be analyzed. He's got no ID. There's really nothing about this guy that they can pick up from. Now, what's interesting here about Scott Snyder's run is that, and I think it's one of the reasons why his run is overall so popular, is if you guys go back just a few weeks ago when we did Batman Day, I introduced the idea that there's three aspects of Batman. There's Batman the detective, Batman the vigilante, and Batman the superhero. And I think that Scott does a great job of kind of intertwining all three of those here. Because we see Batman the detective come in full motion here throughout this entire storyline. Mm-hmm. But first of all, what we see here is Batman is able to deduce by looking at this man that, oh, this dead man, he's pinned to a wall via knives, throwing knives, and all these knives have little owls inscribed on the hilts of them. And Batman's like, okay, that's interesting, but whatever. But what really interested him is that all of the knives missed all the vital points in the body. Mm-hmm. In other words, whoever killed this man wanted him to suffer.
Yeah.
And then he's also able to deduce the fact that this guy is a painter because they're surrounded by like paintings that this guy drew, but there's like an awful lot of paint thinner in this guy's apartment.
Right.
And Batman's like, just by looking at the paintings, he's like, this guy was really good. And like the paint thinner or the paint remover, like the smell of it is really strong, indicating that he used a lot of it. A guy this good wouldn't need to use that much of this goddamn paint remover. So in other words, this shit was probably used for something else. And he takes a match and he holds it up and it ignites on a joining wall where this shit was used to inscribe a message saying Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow. I love like the smart detective work that Scott Snyder introduces here. How he puts like little things in there like that for Batman to figure out and piece together.
Yeah.
And they get this sign. Now what's interesting here is that this message says Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow. They also deduced that this man had been dead for probably 3 days or so. And so Harvey Bullock is thinking, well, this is clearly wrong because if Bruce Wayne was going to die tomorrow, that would have been like 2 days ago. And Batman says, not unless they counted on us finding the body here today. And Harvey's like, how'd you figure that? Well, come to find out, the guy where he lives, he's such a John Doe that the only time people check on him is when they want rent. And the rent guy comes by at the same time every month, indicating that whenever this guy would be found, that would be the day that they're saying that Bruce Wayne would die the following day.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Very logical scene. Like you like how every bit of puzzle makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So it's a very cool puzzle piece there.
As it should for a Batman story.
Yeah.
Also, quick shout out because it deserves it, and the man deserves the flowers too. Greg Capullo.
Oh yeah.
Scott Snyder, of course, in his writing helps to stand out and makes this Batman story a great one, especially of recent years to be read. But also teamed with the great Greg Capullo and his artistic skill.
Yes.
Yeah, that only emphasizes and accents the writing itself.
Right.
As a good artist should.
Yeah, I think so. I think that they're a duo that's up there with like Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. You know?
Man. That's a fucking duo.
That's a duo.
That's a money. Yeah.
That's a goddamn duo.
Yeah.
But long story short, also with these contests that he has in, Bruce is able to analyze the guy's body and send a scan of it back to the Batcave for Alfred to kind of run prints on, because there are some other prints on this guy under his nails indicating that maybe the killer tissue is under the nails, so they can analyze that. Bada bing, bada boom, get the killer.
Wonder why Batman hasn't shared this tech with the police department.
Probably because corruption.
Probably because corruption. That's the sad but true answer. Yeah. Because it's like, man, if Gotham PD had access to this shit, oh my gosh.
Oh, they'd be fucking spying on people.
Right? Oh, that's so true. Commissioner Gordon be like, well, of course we're going to spy on that one.
Yep.
You know, we're going to spy on Scarecrow. Fuck him. Bane, he's been quiet lately. Fuck it. Kite Man, why not? Yeah. You know. Poison Ivy? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yep.
Fit cameras in her bathroom. It's like, oh, Kamish, no.
No, come on.
Don't be that guy.
It's for protection.
The Patriot Law. Like, no, Kamish, no.
You can't keep using that excuse.
You can't keep doing this.
Now, the interesting conclusion to this issue is that Alfred goes, Master Wayne, I got a hit on those prints, and this is some old bullshit, sir, but the prints read Dick Grayson.
Right.
So, like, imagine, if you will, you're back in the comic book shop back in 2011 when this first came out, and you're reading this issue by issue on like a monthly basis. That means for like a month, you're like, did Dick Grayson kill this guy? Like, is Dick Grayson in the Court of Owls? But yes, I will go ahead and tell you guys here, no, Dick Grayson did not kill this guy. But Dick does have a pretty solid excuse as to why his DNA is under this guy's nails. Essentially, at a later part in the story, Dick says to Bruce, it was a few days ago, this guy, he grabbed me and said, they're coming for you. They're coming for you all. He said something to that effect. And when he grabbed Dick, like some of Dick's skin follicles got under this guy's nails, which is why, bada bing, bada boom, Dick's DNA is found on this guy. But just hitting the highlights here, the next thing we get here is a pretty fucking awesome scene. I guess it is also important to note that during this the forensic scene with Harvey Bullock and Bruce Wayne, that as they're looking at the knives that killed this guy slowly and painfully, they all have owls on the hilt, and Harvey Bullock is like, do you think this is like the old Court of Owls urban legend? And Batman, like without hesitation, says something like, no, they don't exist. It's not real. Mm-hmm. Like without any hesitation, just shuts it down.
Right.
And when Harvey said it, he was probably, just busting balls. He probably didn't, because it is kind of like an urban legend. Like you get the idea that like the Court of Owls in Gotham exist in the same facet that like our real life boogeyman Illuminati would exist. The same way that people in daily life would talk about the existence of an Illuminati and their evil rituals. You get the idea that like they're an urban legend like that. But we fast forward here, and Bruce Wayne is meeting with Lincoln March at the old Wayne Tower, just like they say they would. Now, before I talk about this scene right here, Kevin, I need to go ahead and get your forgiveness and the forgiveness of the homies.
Oh dear.
I myself did my own Batman detective work deep dive to find something that I thought was quite interesting here.
Okay.
I need you to do me a favor, though, in the meantime. If you could hold this for me, good sir.
Oh,
Thank
dear.
you. You're a doll, Kevin. You're a doll. I will take a look here.
You're not getting this back.
It's
too late. You called me a doll.
Oh, shit.
So, all right, I'm on page 35 of the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman Omni. Cool.
Thank you. And if you look in that,
okay, I'm looking in this.
He talks about the person who created that tower. I believe he says his name was Sir Alan Wayne, as a as a great grandfather. I believe he says.
Okay.
Yes. Now, like I said, about a year or so ago, I reread through Grant Morrison's Batman run, and there's this whole thing about Batman's lineage, and about the people who in his family helped create Wayne Tower, or who helped create a lot of Gotham as it is, specifically the Wayne family home.
Right.
And so I actually paused my reading, and I said, I know that this shit exists somewhere. I need to find it.
Okay.
Because somewhere in Grant Morrison's run, he had listed. Oh shit! Here we go. He had listed essentially all of the parentage of Bruce Wayne, like all of his descendants. And I remember looking at that because I was like, "This is really cool. I've never seen anyone do this before. I never seen anyone just lay it out like this." And so I went back and I looked, and now I'm second guessing myself. It was volume 1 or volume 2. I am almost for certain, Kevin, it was volume 1.
Okay.
I am not a crazy man.
You do not sound crazy.
Thank you.
But you do.
Do you mean it? Oh, you
No.
do. You, okay.
I don't know. You potentially might be not crazy. He said confidently.
Yes. I will grab. Maybe it was volume 2. I am not a goddamn psychopath. It had to. It had to have been volume 2 because Bruce was dead. Right. Tell me I'm not crazy, Kevin.
Okay.
Close enough.
Yes. I mean.
I will tell. Okay, it was volume 2. Here we go.
Gosh. Oh fuck! I see something from here.
Yes.
Okay.
It is here. I'm not going to deep dive into what's going on here exactly, but just know that Dick Grayson during this run, he's Batman, and he's taking young Damian under his tutelage as Robin. But here we get the lineage of the Wayne family, and obviously the father is Thomas Wayne, the grandfather is Silas Wayne, and if this goes in chronological order, the great grandfather
should be Alan Wayne. Yes.
The great grandfather is Patrick Wayne.
Oh, they fucked up. Wait.
Yep,
Wait.
I'm listening.
Wait.
I'm listening.
Patrick Allen Wayne. Yeah, that's right. Middle and first names. There's two.
But for some reason, they only refer to him by the middle name and the New 52 there.
Maybe that's all little Bruce knew and remembered.
And Alfred, that's all he knew and remembered?
Yep. You son of a bitch. I don't know. That is kind of different. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just something interesting because I was like, something is not fucking right here. Like Alan Wayne, why don't I? But now I will also try to give them some kind of some kind of way out here with that.
Okay.
Maybe you could argue that with the New 52, things have changed so much that even Bruce's lineage has changed.
Right. Like they kind of just redid the generational.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, and I'm going to be honest here, like, if this is just a weird accident that they did, I actually blame editorial more than I blame Scott Snyder, because it's the editor's job to be like, actually, Bruce's granddad is Patrick Wayne.
Yeah.
Not Alan Wayne. Yeah, so that was just like a weird kind of thing that I found there. So I'm not sure why the change. Like, it still could have been Patrick. Like, they don't say Patrick did anything extraordinary in this book, so they really could have just put that in there.
Yeah.
It was just a weird kind of change, though, that I discovered there. So Bruce Wayne's lineage. Is his great grandfather Patrick or Alan? You decide.
Well done, buddy. Well done. You found the answer.
Yeah. Well, no. The point is, I did not find the answer, Kevin. That is the point.
No. Okay. So the point is, you found the problem.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yes. Here's your Omni. I wish I could say that's your prize, but you already bought it.
But yeah,
DC's
so
just gonna send you a cease and desist.
or how about this? You guys, you can just hire me as an editor. You fucking need one.
Damn.
Anywho, so yeah, Bruce talks about Alan Wayne, and Alan Wayne built most of like the Wayne buildings in Gotham City, And I gotta be honest, man. Like with the the name snafu, excluded, there's a lot of really cool details that Scott puts into this. Like how there's on the old Wayne Tower, there's like I think he says there's 12 gargoyles, and each one
7. I just looked at it. I was on the same page.
There are 12 gargoyles, or guardians, as Alan calls them.
I saw 7.
And
I'm gonna. You go to bed. I don't sit here and pretend I know everything about Batman.
Hey.
So Batman's gloves are no longer purple, people. Know that. Here are the real facts.
That is correct.
You're fucking right. It's correct.
But they're purple right here.
They're purple on the cover.
Yes.
But that's homage.
Indeed. Right. But no, I really love like the details that they put into this, into like the structural layout of like all these Wayne buildings that Alan put in, Alan Wayne. Because he talks about how like each gargoyle or guardians, as Alan will call them, each one is pointing towards a direction that is like an entrance and or exit into Gotham, whether it be like through transit or through airplanes or bridges, what have you. So each one is like a like a guardian, and the idea is that each gargoyle faces a direction that one can enter in through Gotham, and it's like them guarding people as they're coming and going. It's the idea. So just like a really cool kind of interesting factoid here that Bruce knows and gives to the reader. But it's here where he meets with Lincoln March, the guy who, who's running for mayor, and they exchange pleasantries again. And again, Lincoln has some really cool ideas. But as he's talking, to Lincoln, he does kind of lean into him and say, Bruce, I'm glad that I got your vote and all that, but I gotta be honest, like I think that there's something sinister going on here in Gotham, and I don't know what it is, and I don't really know how to explain it. He says something ancient and powerful and evil are his exact words to Bruce. But it's really at that moment, before they can explain, they are attacked by Talon. So the first time we see Talon here.
Such a cool character.
Yeah.
Breaking that down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, homies, to my knowledge, I'm sure Q, you're going to expound on this so much more. Talon is the dope-ass assassin that Assassin's Creed wishes they could have kept. Like, for real, he is such a cool character. It's the concept of, like, this owl-themed assassin who is just as well trained as Batman with arguably just as good tech somehow and capabilities and gadgets and everything like that. But hot damn, dude, Talon's just such a cool badass. Seeing him was very menacing and just like, oh my gosh, this is a very like present threat.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the presence of Talon is only amplified once you realize that okay, so surely the Court of Owls does actually exist and Batman is wrong.
Right.
And B, they're like the goddamn boogeyman or boogeyman, spoiler alert, because this motherfucker can't die. Mm-hmm. So Talon and Bruce start fighting, but Bruce is trying to make it look like he doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't want to show Lincoln March that, hey, I'm this fucking martial arts badass,
Bruce going Krav Maga, and right? It's like, oh my gosh, how did I do that?
That was an accident.
Oh man, those karate lessons from 10 years old, right? Man.
And it is interesting because in the context of this story, this would be quote unquote tomorrow. So when the sign said Bruce Wayne dies tomorrow, this is tomorrow.
This was the aforementioned attack.
Yes. And this Talon, by the way, he's decked out like a complete badass head to toe. So you can't see any facial features. The mask is reminiscent that of an owl.
Of course. Owl themed. Yep. That's appropriate.
And
kicking ass.
And so they're like on the top floor of this Wayne Tower. And it's so funny. I say funny, but it's just kind of funny because what ends up happening is that in like the early stages of this fight, you see that Bruce actually gets that page right there that you're on right there.
I was about to say, I found the page you're talking about earlier. Yeah. And he's just like, this is my great-great-grandfather's tower, and I'm crashing out of it.
Yeah.
I'm going down.
It was funny. Like
I watched the city rise.
He talks about like the shatterproof window ... and lets you know exactly how to throw someone through a shatterproof window.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, only you would have that thought as you're plummeting down towards an assured death. Yeah, so like Bruce, he's going plummeting down, but like throughout the course of this fight, before he gets thrown through a goddamn window that he should not be able to get thrown through, as he's attacking Talon, he realizes that, okay, something isn't right. I'm attacking this guy's pressure points and nothing. Like, the rear chokehold I put this guy in, I put like 150 pounds of pressure on this guy, and he's not even flinching.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is happening here? And so he's kind of weirded out because this is clearly no ordinary man. But as Bruce is falling, he has nothing to protect him, no way to save him. But his saving grace is that as they're falling, Bruce talks about how there's something that most people don't know about Gotham. That is, his grandfather built a 13th Guardian, a 13th Gargoyle, and that was and that was for, I think, for the airways of Gotham, for people coming in through airplanes.
Oh, okay.
Which most people didn't know about, and it's on a lower level than the other gargoyles, so most people don't even see it. And because Bruce knows the layout, he's able to latch himself onto that gargoyle, and Talon does not. Talon goes fucking plummeting, falls, lands on a car and completely ruins it, and he's taken off by the EMTs. And as Talon is in that ambulance riding off, he fucking pulls a goddamn Frankenstein or Jason Voorhees, sits up, murders everybody in that ambulance, and he's gone. So now we know that the Court of Owls, this Talon, whatever it is nothing to be fucked with. And it's still alive. What the fuck? I really love this picture by Capullo also.
That is dope. That's such a clean one.
Yeah.
Very different shading.
Yes, very much so. But moving right along here, Batman goes again looking for more clues about where he can find Talon, but he stops to go visit Lincoln March, who's in the hospital. Lincoln got fucked up by Talon too when they were fighting at the old Wayne Tower. And it's here where Lincoln tells Bruce more about his past, about how he and Bruce, they have some similarities, and that is, they both lost their parents. And he says to Bruce, like, I really even remember what my mother looks like, but I remember, when she died, in that car crash, she had this, I think he said was a clay pendant in the shape of a heart that I made for her, pinned to her chest. And again, shout out to Scott Snyder, because that's such a fucking insignificant detail that comes back in such a huge fucking way.
Right.
But it was just a cool thing to put a pin on.
Yeah.
But Bruce goes looking underground and looking for like more ways that this Court of Owls could be, trying to find them. And then Bruce, he starts to lean into the urban legend a little bit, and he starts to lean into learning more about his great-grandfather, Alan. And he goes, my Uncle Alan was a very superstitious man. He was one of the first people in the country to subscribe to the idea of eliminating the 13th floor for superstitious reasons. And he goes, he says something along the lines of, when they said there's no 13th floor, there actually is a small space between number 12 and 14.
Yeah.
It's just not a full floor.
Right.
And then he goes, owls, and I also know that owls are birds of prey, and they rarely take up they rarely build their own nests, and most times they take other predators' place of living, or they just take the places of their prey. And so he goes, I'm going to check out to see what's in between these 12th and 14th floors, see if I can find anything.
Yeah.
And so he goes to several Wayne buildings built by Allen, and in all of them he finds hideouts by that Talons live in. And so in like all these buildings, he finds like a suit that is a Court of Owls suit, various weaponry, and by the varying degrees of technology, he can tell when this specific quote unquote owl moved in to this building. Some of them have like a lot of old school weaponry and technology.
Yeah.
Some of them are more recent.
Some of them got knives made by Da Vinci. You know. Yeah.
And so that was like a really fucking cool discovery here that he finds. But as he's looking through one of them, he accidentally trips a tripwire, but he realizes it as soon as he does, and that building explodes with Batman in it. But of course, Batman is a man of resiliency, if nothing else. He is able to escape. But as he's escaping now, he's realizing that he's stumbling onto something bigger here, and he's asked again by Dick, like, okay, Bruce, listen, you got a weird clue from a dead man's body saying that you would die tomorrow. Then you got attacked by this weird fucking mystical being who had an owl-shaped mask. And then you found a bunch of these Court of Owl hideouts throughout these Wayne buildings on the 13th floor. Don't you think that it's time to start believing that maybe the Court of Owls is real? And Bruce says to Dick, I know for a fact that the Court of Owls does not exist, and I know that because I've already looked for them. And this is like another really cool kind of flashback that we get for Bruce Wayne, because what we see here is that we get a flashback of his parent or of him shortly after his parents' death. And he basically says that he needed there to be a boogeyman. He needed there to be someone to blame for this random act of violence. He couldn't just buy the fact that his parents were just randomly gunned down like that. He didn't want to believe it. He wanted to find some culprit. And so he went looking, and he did a bunch of detective work especially for a kid his age. And it took him to this old dilapidated building that he thought for sure the Court of Owls would be. He called it an owl's nest. And he went there looking for them, and he was just so determined to find this place. And so he found it, and he says it was called a place called Harbor House. And so he goes into this place called Harbor House, and it's like an old building for like I guess like the rich or elite to go meet at. I believe is what it was.
It's a house for harbors, Quentin.
That's a mighty big ass house.
Mm-hmm. It's a really big house.
It's a really big house.
Really big house. Those walls go deep. It says it in the title.
And so he thought for sure that this would be it, because all the clues led to this Harbor House being the place where the Court of Owls would be, as he's like a kid. Like,
it's almost too easy.
Almost too fucking easy. And he goes there.
He doesn't curse like that. It's just too easy. I'm Batman.
And he goes there, and he says, and he found absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. He found nothing there. And then he says to Dick, that's how I know that the Court of Owls aren't real, because I've already looked for them. And then this week he gives the whole explanation about how he needed there to be a boogeyman. He needed there to be something to exist.
Yeah.
But there isn't. Sometimes shit just happens.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Hard lesson to learn.
Yeah, very hard lesson to learn. But anyways, Bruce goes again looking through the tunnel system to see if he can find out where Talon could have escaped from, because he realizes that he had to have gone through the sewers, and he knows every bit of the sewers, but maybe there's this one spot he can check. And he goes there, and he finds something, all right. But as soon as he finds like a clue that could lead to the Court of Owls hangout or their lair, he is viciously attacked by Talon, blindsided even. And then when he comes through, he is in like the labyrinth of the Court of Owls, and it's probably one of the most insidious sections of the entire book.
Yep. Fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah. This part is where it became almost superstitious to a point.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, what the fuck is going on down here? What are you lacing each other with?
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. My guess is LSD.
So, actually, before you get into this part, this is why I grimaced earlier. Quick spoiler for you, bro.
Yeah.
As to, like, the Court of Owls here and what it is in the books and what it should be in the video game and how menacing and scary and superstitious and just otherworldly this whole entire underground connection is. Like, what the fuck are these rich assholes doing down here?
Right.
Versus what happened with Harley Quinn.
Okay, so I haven't seen that episode yet, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like, bro, it's... Sad face, where's my cigar?
Oh, really?
I've seen some things. Like the veteran came out. Yeah. You know what that means. Yeah, it's not great.
God damn. I didn't think that Harley Quinn would drop the ball on something like that. You know, they normally do pretty good at balancing, like, you know, character integrity and know-how versus comedy.
Kind of, sorta. But then it goes south, and it goes south. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
I gotta
Homies,
watch it.
No spoilers to any of you out there either. But you also need to watch it after you motherfuckers read this book.
Hell yeah.
This book. Hell yeah. Thank you, Kite Man. But yeah, this book here, this book
this
right
shit
here,
right here,
this shit right here,
yes,
is not called Death. It's called the Court of Owls. Shout out to the bit if you know it.
Yes. But you know, you mentioned you know, about the Harley Quinn TV show and their use of the Court of Owls. It's like I said at the top of this episode, man. The Court of Owls, to me, they were only used really well during this run.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
For real. I'm hoping the video game does them justice as well. Because that's a dope-ass, like, new style of villain for the Batman Rogue Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
That's, like, not an entity, but a fucking organization.
Right.
A whole class of assholes who are just, like, well-armed, well-resourced, and acting fucking superior with an ulterior motive. So, you know, there's some shit to be had there.
Right.
There's money for the taking. So, it's interesting. Definitely. Especially a new territory for our bats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, not to go ahead and segue us out here, because I want to talk about the game just a little bit here at the end, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it's definitely going to happen, and 1 being it's definitely not going to happen. What do you think the odds are that in Gotham Knights, Bruce Wayne is not dead, but he's been made into a Talon by the Court of Owls?
Oh, bro. How dare you?
By the way, guys, that's the story for the Gotham Knights game.
There's absolutely no chance at all. It's not going to happen. 8.
that was my score too.
Yeah?
It's gonna be
Get the
8.
fuck out of here, bro. Give me another cheers. I'm down to my kombucha, but give me a cheers. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, on a scale of 8 to 10, it's probably an 8. You know, probably, so I guess it'd be an 80% chance.
Yeah.
Roughly that Bruce Wayne,
That's math.
Yeah, that's how math works,
Mathematical.
Right? That maths.
Did you get my reference, buddy? It made me happy.
Mathematical?
Yeah. Homies, I hope you got the reference. But you feel free to move on. You're good. Yeah, no, yeah. Technically, they got comic books too, but not for tonight's episode.
Well, anyways, Batman's been kidnapped, folks.
Makes me so happy.
And he has been gone for, I think, 8 days is what they say. Yeah, he's been gone for 8 days. No one's seen him. No one in the Bat family has seen him. Alfred hadn't seen him. Commissioner Gordon hadn't seen him. And I do like this little speech that that Gordon gives to Bullock here. Bullock is like, hey, man, you're going to blow the bulb on that thing, referring to the back signal. He goes, you've had that thing going for 8 days straight now, still no bats. When are you going to turn it off? And basically, Commissioner Gordon says, keeping this on isn't just me holding out hope that Batman comes back, but it's also for the criminals as well, to let them know that, we're all still at work here and that we're not going to rest. And so, no, the signal stays on. It's just a really kind of cool and effective little speech that Gordon gives. But we go back to Batman now, who has been in this underground labyrinth for 8 days. And there's a couple of things I like here, and I want to point out again the artwork. And that is Batman looks crazed because he's been his only source of nutrients has been this well of water coming from this giant owl statue. And Batman deduces this shit is definitely laced with drugs. Like, they want me confused and drugged right now. And if you look at the artwork here, you see that one of the eyes is the classic ghost shell eye, and the other one is like bloodshot, like it's busted out even.
Yeah.
And what that tells me is that the ghost shell eyes aren't just like they represent more than just like the artist's rendition of eyes with the cowls on, but like there's an actual lens that covers Batman's cowl, and that lens has been busted out in one eye. It's a very small little detail, but it's a very cool detail, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's drinking this well water because it's the only thing that there is to drink, and he's in this labyrinth and he's going crazy. And in this maze, he finds like pictures of everybody who is a victim of the Court of Owls. Everybody who's been drugged and tortured and killed by them. He finds them all, and he just goes through this labyrinth. And Bruce Wayne is like damn near losing his mind.
Yeah.
And at one point, he even thinks that he sees his parents, and he goes up and hugs them, but it's not his parents. He's just being attacked again. But yeah, so he's like losing his shit right now. And what I really love about this is that stuff still in volume 1 there in your hand? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Looking at it here? Yeah.
What I really appreciate about it is that as you go on here, to make the reader feel just as discombobulated as Bruce, you have to twist and turn the book as you read it in order to keep with the panels.
That was cool. Like now I'm on the fucking like sideways shit.
Right.
And then soon I'm gonna be on the upside
and
down.
Then it goes upside down.
That is creative as fuck.
Yeah.
Man, this is when DC earned their paycheck.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like this. And now I'm reading the shit awkwardly.
Right.
Like I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right. Yeah, it was super cool to read that from that perspective, just to really show how fucked up Bruce Wayne is from all this.
Yeah.
But eventually Bruce is attacked by Talon, and you get the idea that this is what they do. They torture their prey first. They being the Court of Owls, they put you through hell. They put you through this psychological horror. They drug you. Yeah. They send you through this labyrinth for who knows how long, and then they kill you. But here's the thing. Like, the one problem that they have here is that this is the goddamn Batman. And so,
yeah,
you know, he's not going to go down like their other victims. And so what ends up happening here is that when they think that Bruce has had it, when they think that he's done, no, he's not. And he gets up and he fights. And, he fights because, like, he's had enough. And he's not going to take their bullshit anymore. Mm-hmm. And so you see him get up and you see him fight. And the way that Greg Capullo draws Batman is almost monstrous. Yeah. Almost like he's transforming.
So fucking cool.
Yeah.
The bat that, like, exploded from an owl.
Yeah.
No. Oh, man. It's like the owl is exploding from within the bat. There
right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's also at this point where you finally get to see like the masked figures who are the Court of Owls, like the wealthy elites. Like you see them, and it's some real Eyes Wide Shut type shit. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie.
Which one?
The Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick. Like a real fucking creepy ass movie. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Really good movie though. But this gives me a lot of Eyes Wide Shut vibe. Just seeing this cabal of masked weirdos standing around watching Bruce Wayne, almost die. But Bruce he fights this Talon, and they go back and forth. And by the end of it, Bruce is able to get the upper hand on him, and he's able to incapacitate this Talon.
Yes.
And so it's pretty fucking badass. But Batman also knows where they're at as well, because again, the detective work in this run is really fucking cool. And so he's able to deduce by I think by like the limestone that's in this labyrinth. He's like, I know this isn't marble. This is some type of limestone, and I recognize the minerals in the water that you guys drugged me with. I know exactly where I am, which means, and then he throws out one of his explosive pellets, blows a hole in like the owl statue or right behind it, and jumps down in it, and he takes him like right behind like a Gotham ravine. And yeah, so Batman is able to escape them. The Court of Owl, they're still very much active and all that, so they're not done, but Batman was able to escape. But it's at this point where at the end of this issue, the Court of Owls say, okay, well, so he wants to be tough. That's fine. We'll just have to get more. So we'll wake them up, all of them. And then you see that one talent that gave Batman all that problem, that was just one of many.
Yep.
There are many, many talents. And now the Court of Owls have decided to awaken them all to send them after Bruce Wayne. And now the interesting part for me is that I thought that at this point, when I first read the story, that I had seen like the coolest thing that the story had to offer. I had not. Not by a long shot.
No, for real, dude.
Yeah.
Like this page right here
Yeah.
is what did it for me.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah.
you see like the leader of the Court of Owls with their prolonged nails and their eerie, almost like defeathered skin, looking owl-esque in nature, especially with the white hair just around the rim of the mask. All these assholes in creepy owl masks, just like revealing the room where, okay, wake them all up. Everybody, and then you see all the coffins, and only one is emptied.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was so fucking cool. Because they do such a great job of building up Talon and making you think that there's this just one supreme threat.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh no, there's many of them. There's other cool details also released along the way, like Alan Wayne died underneath suspicious circumstances, how he was a crazed man in his last days. You know, he was running around paranoid, almost schizophrenic in nature, and he died by falling in a manhole. Is what they think happened to him. But we know now that's not the case. And also, it is important to note that the Court of Owls, the way they get their talents is they used to have basically a little recruiting center that people didn't know about, and that recruiting center was through Haley Circus. The same Haley Circus where the Flying Graysons performed at.
Yep.
And Dick Grayson was primed to be a Talon. But thankfully, Batman said, nope, not this guy. Can't have that happen. But Batman is eventually able to make it back to the Batcave, and he's taken in by Alfred. And Alfred, being the OG that he is, has Talon's body strapped up on a board.
Yeah.
And they were to discover that if you keep a Talon's body in like sub-zero temperatures, then their regenerative properties don't function properly. So they're not dead, but it's almost like they're in a stasis if you keep them damn near frozen.
Right.
And so now that gives Batman like a lot of room to play with here, because now he realized that, okay, if I can keep these motherfuckers frozen, I know what I need to do. But it's also at this point when Batman is able to unmask this talent and to get more information on him, he learns and tells Dick, yeah, this guy right here, this talent who tried to kill me, he's your great-grandfather.
Yep. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I need a button like that. The dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, why don't we have
I don't
that?
know.
That's a good button.
It is a good button. Yeah. Very, very comic book-esque button. Yeah, so now at this point, there's just a shit ton of talons that are coming out and are about to wreak havoc on Gotham City. And now a lot of these talents are going out after certain officials. They're going out to go ahead and attack and kill certain people in positions of power in Gotham City. And there was a list on one of these pages, and maybe it's later on here, but it was interesting looking at the list of people who the Court of Owls had these talents go after. But besides that, they were also sending a large number of talons to Wayne Manor. And now this was super interesting here because Bruce is still recovering. Like he's still bandaged up and he's still bruised up, and he has no idea what's about to happen. Yeah. Okay, that's the end of volume 1.
Yeah, that's the end of volume 1. Like when I see on the end of volume 1, I'll show you the last page here because I don't. That's a bonus. There it is. Last page.
Oh, yeah.
That page. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because, that book still goes into Dick Grayson and the great-great-grandfather.
Yeah.
And the reveal that Dick Grayson was actually also breeded in order to become another Talon.
Right.
Very, very interesting.
Hell yeah.
You know they got to talk about that in the video game.
Yeah, they have to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, once it's revealed, there's that molar.
There's that goddamn tooth. Yeah. Goddamn. But, man, like, this next issue, I really fucking love because you just don't see a lot of stuff like this often in comic books. And, like, it was just so fucking cool to read. And essentially, Bruce and Alfred. They're in Wayne Manor, obviously. You know, Bruce is still nursing his wounds, and they're talking about like the whole Court of Owls and what they can do to kind of stop this whole cabal. And Alfred is trying to tell Bruce that you need to rest and recover. You know, you need to get your strength back. Blah 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 blah. And Bruce is like, no, I'm fine, Alfred. But I've just been a fool. I've been a fool for so long. I've been so arrogant. But then it's at that point where both Bruce and Alfred, they hear something.
And then Alfred hides his owl mask. Spoilers!
Goddamn. Kevin has read a different Court of Owls than everyone else. But no, thankfully, that was not the case.
Could you imagine, though? Fuck. Alfred, the whole time, like, yes, master. Puts on the mask. All right, let's go run the city for real.
But no, Bruce and Alfred hear a noise, like a thump, and they're like, what in the fuck was that? Mm-hmm. And they're like, basically, they hear it, and they're like, someone's trying to get in. And so they both go checking in different places to see, like, who in the fuck is trying to get in. And then, like, basically, when it's too late, they realize, oh, shit, they're being attacked by Talons. And so the Talons have now infiltrated Wayne Manor. And so you have Batman here, or Bruce Wayne, who's beat the fuck up, who was deprived for 8 days and barely escaped with his life. And he's out here. I mean, he's in his own home, in his own goddamn house, trying to recover. And here he's being attacked by these Talons again. And so now he's just trying to hold his goddamn own, and there's just these like large number of Talons who are coming out to fight him. And so it's just this really cool fight scene that occurs. And again, like I just like the fact that this fight takes place on Wayne Manor, like on his own home turf. And it gives like credence to the idea that, again, that's what owls do. Owls will attack their prey on their own home.
Right.
And that's exactly what these Court of Owls are doing. They're attacking the bat in his own home.
Hoot, hoot, motherfucker.
Alfred, that's no owl.
I don't know where to continue with that. There's too many directions.
But I do also like the fact that so many of Batman's cool novelties come into play here. Like he smashes one of the Talons with a giant penny, which will have to be held to pick back up.
Batman called the whole Bat fam for that. Like, all right, guys.
Yep.
We're gonna lift this together. Everyone do some squats
on the count of 3. But also, the really cool thing here is that Batman tells Alfred to go lock himself in one room to keep an eye on him and surveillance. And Batman goes into a different room to get another toy. Mm-hmm. And the toy that he gets here is a toy that makes his way back in a later issue in the same run.
Yes. This fucking thing.
He gets the Devastator armor. And I fucking love this suit. Mm-hmm. The Devastator or the Justice Buster, whatever you want to call it. He fucking gets it.
All the above is correct.
Yes. It is this giant mech Batman suit. And Batman says to these motherfuckers, get the hell out of my house. Mm-hmm. It's so good. But yeah, so as this is going on, we have to remember that the Court of Owls, they're also attacking other prominent members of society. We see one attacking the computroller. What is a computroller?
It's a computer that controls.
God damn it, Kevin. This is a goddamn person.
It's a person with a computer that also has.
I'm sorry, not computroller, comptroller. If that changes anything for you.
Trolls on computers.
God damn it, Kevin.
We have a lot of those.
Yep. They attack the Gotham City deputy sheriff, the Kane County Supreme Court justice, Gotham public advocate, city planning commission, commissioner of cultural affairs, speaker of the council. The talent they're attacking and killing all of these prominent people who have the power to make the changes that Bruce Wayne wanted to make way back in issue 1.
Right.
So in other words, the Court of Owls don't like change. But yeah, so yeah, we see like everybody who they want to kill. Also, and again, like I can't find the list in front of me, but it's somewhere. But we see on the list that they have people on the list like obviously Commissioner Gordon. He's on the list who they want to kill. But also, here it is. Yeah, they have Victor Freeze on the list. They want to kill Mr. Freeze for some reason. And also they have the Penguin. He's on the list too.
Wow.
Yeah. Lucius Fox is on the list.
I'm trying to find the list.
It's at the beginning of so after you get this page where they're trying to kill like all the people in power. After that page, yeah, it's after looking at the back computer. Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah,
it's backwards. But if you look at the names, you're able to see like there's
the mayor, Randall Davis.
Yeah, Randall Davis. Lincoln March is on the. Yep. Lucius Fox, and the last one is Oswald Cobblepot. Yep.
Random.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze, I can't imagine why they want to kill him. Penguin, I understand.
Damn.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Devastator suit is just so badass. And thankfully, the rest of the Bat family, they're out there, trying to save who they can. So we got like Tim Drake, Red Hood, Dick Grayson, Damian, and Batgirl, and others who are out here trying to save as many of these people as they can. And now, the cool thing is that this Bat mech suit, this thing is badass, but these Talons are ruthless, and there's so many of them. And you have to remember that technically these Talons, they have enhanced strength, durability, and a regenerative property. Mm-hmm. And so even with all the cool toys and weapons that this bat suit has on it, you got to think like, how long can this thing hold up? And so Batman is getting after it to lower the temperature in the Batcave to sub-zero levels so that these Talons can freeze and so that he can incapacitate them.
Right.
The problem is the bat suit has to hold up that long, and it's not. This is also where we get like another one of my favorite moments where he uses another cool novelty in the Batcave. And like, who knew this until this issue of Batman? But the goddamn dinosaur in the Batcave is robotic, and Batman commands it to step on the Talons, and it's fucking awesome. I love that scene. I'm not gonna lie, man. If I'm a billionaire, I'm buying some dumb shit too. I'm buying a goddamn
for sure.
Jurassic Park T-Rex.
You know that wasn't originally a robot when you got it. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna make this a robot.
Master Wayne, if I may, so why, pray tell, would you make this dinosaur into a robot?
Because, Alfred.
Very well, sir.
Thank you. Now, where's my tea? I need my relaxing tea, Alfred. My bat tea. I'm sorry, that was more like some Will Arnett Batman.
A little bit, yeah. But what is also cool is that Batman receives an unlikely ally as he's being jumped by all these Talons who have finally started to breach the new mech back suit. And that is just a fucking swarm of bats come in. And so it's just really cool to see that Batman receives allies from the bats. And but it's also at this moment where the temperature begins to drop, but unfortunately, the bat suit is completely demolished. So Batman has to get the fuck out of there because now he's just in his normal bat suit. His mech bat suit is all fucked up. But yeah, so he's able to get out of there, and we do get this funny moment where Batman hops in the Batmobile. A Talon jumps in front of him. Batman runs over the Talon.
Right.
And Alfred goes, "Sir," and Batman just goes, "He's got a healing factor."
Right. Right. You know, that's how Batman treat Deadpool. Like, it's okay, Alfred. He's gonna heal.
He's gonna heal from it.
Sir, he's only a head.
He'll heal from it, Alfred.
He'll heal from that. He'll be fine.
So now with the Batcave and freezing temperatures, they're able to get the rest of the Talon kind of contained and keep them from being a threat. But in the meantime, Batman goes to visit Lincoln March, but Lincoln March is dying. He had been stabbed by a Talon, and he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. But he just says he has a message for Bruce, and he gives Bruce he gives Batman, quote unquote, a letter for Batman to give to Bruce, and. Lincoln March, his last words are, I know that you know Bruce Wayne. Tell him to fight them. Fight for this city. It's worth it. Gotham can be a good place. Remind him that a better Gotham is just one dream. And before he can do his catchphrase, one dream away, Lincoln March dies. Mm-hmm. And so, we get that. By the way, guys, throughout all this, there is this really cool sub-story going on about Jarvis Pennyworth, who was Alfred's dad, who were servants to the Waynes before Alfred. And it's a really fucking interesting and cool sub-story that we get back here that I highly encourage you guys to read because you get to see like the paranoia from Jarvis Pennyworth's point of view and from his perspective, what went down with the Waynes and what led to maybe them being targets of the Court of Owls. Really cool stuff. But essentially, we learned that Thomas and Martha Wayne they wanted to build. I believe it's like a kind of like an orphanage or like a home for troubled youth of sorts, or kind of like some kind of hospital for children, something like that. But they also wanted to like build a lot of other things for Gotham City that they were being told not to build. They were basically being threatened not to build. And Martha was really the one who's fighting that these things, be built. By the way, they did save the coolest Talon suit for the main event.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That is such a great fucking suit.
Yeah. So anyway, we go back to current time though, and we see Batman. He's he goes back to where it all began. He goes back to the Harbor House. He's able to get enough evidence to learn that he needs to go back to the Harbor House, the same place he went to when he was a kid after his parents died. Yeah. This is where he first looked for the Court of Owls, and this is where he's going again. And so he goes there this time, and he goes there to confront the Court of Owls one last time. This is going to be it, no matter what. He goes to the Harbor House, and he finds the Court of Owls. They're all sitting at this giant dinner table, and they've all died from drinking poison wine. So they've all decided to kill themselves. And Batman's like, well, shit. So on one hand, Bruce is happy that this is over with. But on the other hand, he feels a little upset, a little angry that they were able to get away with it in their own way. Right.
Like in their own messed up way, they won.
Yeah. Like they won, like they ran the game until the jig was up. But once their cover were blown, they decided to off themselves.
They afflicted the city with such a heavy hit,
Yeah.
and don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, like every time when I was first reading the story, Kevin, every time I would get to a point where I'd be like, okay, now it's gonna calm down. It does another fucking 180 and picks right the fuck back up. And so here I am at this point again, and I'm like, okay, yeah. So, my first time reading this, I was like, okay, I'm in like the final stages of the story now. So, we're gonna get to the conclusion and wrap it on up here.
Nope.
And nope. And I'm reading here, and like Bruce, he's and I didn't remember this until my my reading of this recently. But Bruce kept the shell casings that killed his parents, and he's just playing with them in his hands, and he's just sitting, in the in Wayne Manor, just kind of looking whimsically. He's like he can't believe that it ended like that.
Yeah.
But no, he's just sitting there looking down into the distance, and Alfred comes up to him and tells him that sir, you need to get ready. You have things to do and whatnot. And Bruce is like, I suppose I should get ready. I should go ahead and head out and whatnot. And as Bruce is getting up, he's about to he's about to get changed and whatnot. He looks at a picture of his parents, and something fucking dawns on him. And if you have a fucking really keen eye, and if you are just fucking amazing at paying attention, you would notice what Bruce also noticed. But you had to be Bruce Wayne to fucking put this shit together.
Right.
And Bruce Wayne notices some shit that sends him off. He goes, Alfred, fuck the meeting. I gotta go.
Right.
And it's after this that Bruce goes to the morgue as Batman, of course. He goes to the morgue and he looks in the, I almost called it a file cabinet. What do you call those things that the morgue's bodies are kept in?
It's a dead file cabinet.
Dead file cabinet.
What's this file? Joe Smith? Yeah, that's him. No, that would be the mortician. I don't know what they're called either. The mortician drawers.
Mortician, yeah.
Yeah.
Dead body storage.
Yeah. Corpse drawers.
Yeah.
They're not getting better.
Right. And he goes there and he opens up one of those corpse storage units, and at this point you don't know whose, but he opens it up and he finds a note there, and it says, "Follow me down the rabbit hole," with a question mark at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And Bruce just says, "Yep, right behind you, old friend." And so he goes, and he takes him back to this place called the Willowwood Home for Children. Bruce just instinctively knows to go here. And the reason why he knows to go here is because waiting for him here, the person who captures him here, is none other than Lincoln March. Mm-hmm. The person whose body he went to go find at the morgue was Lincoln March, because Bruce had the suspicion Lincoln is not dead. I saw him die, but he's not dead. Lincoln had taken the same kind of serum that the Court of Owls give to the rest of the Talons to keep himself alive. So even though it looked like he died, he was in that sub-zero temperature.
What did he see in his parents' photo that made him realize this?
When Lincoln March said that his parents died, and he was telling Bruce about his childhood back when they were buddies, he purposely put a detail in that story hoping that Bruce would pick up on it. And what he says to Bruce was, I remember, my parents, when my mother died, it was really rough on me. And I barely remember what she looked like, but she had this clay pendant with a heart on it, and I could never find it. And then he goes on, and it's just a small detail. But if you look just a few pages before that, when Bruce is looking at the picture, you see that there's a heart-shaped pendant on his mom's shirt. And Bruce is and Bruce like, son of a bitch, Lincoln March made that story up. Like, that was not his mom, that was my mom. And that was enough for him to know, wait a minute, the Court of Owls also didn't kill themselves. They were set up just like I was set up. So the Court of Owls, come to find out, those members that you see sitting there dead at that table, they didn't kill themselves via suicidal wine. they were poisoned by Lincoln March. He killed them. And come to find out, Lincoln March has, of course, been a member of the Court of Owls this whole time, except he was a prop.
Yep.
He was the guy set up to be the mayor so that they could have even more control over Gotham City. What they didn't count on is him turning on them.
He wised up and said, nah, I'm going to turn these tables.
Exactly. Yeah. On everybody.
Yeah.
So Lincoln March is now taking this same type of serum that makes the Talons. Dionysium is a part of the formula. The same Dionysium that comes back in at the very end of Scott Snyder's story here on Batman. But then we get Lincoln March's, we get his, what he claims to be his true origin story. And I feel like Scott is almost trying to imbue a little bit of the Killing Joke here, because you can't really tell how much of this is real and how much of it isn't.
Yeah.
With his origin. But Lincoln March essentially says that, Bruce, back when, you were a kid, I don't think that you remember this, Bruce, but your mom was pregnant again with the second child. That child was me that your mom was carrying.
Yeah.
And he goes, your parents, specifically your mom, but both of your parents are being targeted by the Court of Owls because they were doing shit that was going against what the court wanted. And it was going to cost you guys dearly. And they got into a car wreck via the Court of Owls. And when they got into the car wreck, it's interesting here because at the end of the story, Alfred does confirm that, yes, Martha was pregnant with the second child. However, he says that Martha lost the child in the car wreck and that there's no record for it. Bruce Wayne, with his own research, says that the day that the dates that Lincoln gives him matches up with the date that a John Doe was taken to this Willowwood home for hurt children. Lincoln March says that he was that the car wreck caused like an early birth, and that he was born with severe disabilities. And that's why the Waynes put him there in that home, because they didn't want him to be, I guess, around the rest of the family, so that they put him there in that home. So this is another story telling us that Mommy and Daddy Wayne weren't quite as good as Bruce was led to believe.
Yeah,
and Lincoln basically says that after our parents died, Bruce, I wasn't worried because I knew that my big brother would come for me one day. I knew that he'd come and take me from this place, that, we'd come and we fight this city together, but you never came. And
great story.
Oh, it's a phenomenal story. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's fucking grade A storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's made even better by the fact that at the end of it, you have, Bruce's detective work figuring out that I don't see any record of this guy, whose real name is Thomas, would have been Thomas Wayne Jr. if he did live, and if that is their second child.
Right.
Now, the reason that he's called Lincoln March is because the car wreck happened on the corner of Lincoln Avenue and March Avenue, and hence the name Lincoln March,
which is pretty great.
Yeah. And so like obviously these guys, they have their big blowout fight and whatnot, and at the end of this fight, the way that this whole thing plays out, and man, his suit is really fucking cool. Just looking at his suit here. Mm-hmm. But the way that the fight ends up here is they end up in this building that is, again, fucking rigged to the gills with explosives. It's one of, I believe it's one of Alan Wayne's buildings, which makes it, even more, ironic and special in that occasion. But Lincoln essentially wants them all to. It's like we're gonna go together, Bruce, you and I. Except this time, I'm gonna live and you won't.
Yeah.
Because Bruce does not have that Court of Owl, formula in him. And so as this building is going up, Bruce is able to get away and escape. Later on, we see that he's talking with Commissioner Gordon, and Gordon goes, "There's no casualties here, Bruce. There's no one in the building," indicating that Lincoln March got out. He did survive. And then at the end of the story is when, we really see Bruce look at, looking at like Dick and Alfred, like people who he truly considers to be his family and whatnot, and understanding about what it really means to be a part of Gotham. And I do like this last bit of dialogue between Bruce and Dick, where Bruce says, "Gotham isn't Batman. Gotham isn't the Owls. Gotham is all of us." And Dick goes, "It's a little bit of Batman too. Come on." And it's like that's funny because it's kind of true. But yeah, that is essentially, guys, the ending of the Court of Owls story there. And what is the true nature of Lincoln March? Like, is he really Thomas Wayne Jr., or did Thomas Wayne Jr. die in the car wreck, like Alfred says, and like maybe the records show? Is the John Doe that was committed to Willowwood, is that really Lincoln March? Is that Thomas Wayne Jr.? Is Lincoln March telling the truth, or another theory to throw out there? Was Lincoln March just some poor orphan who was fed a bunch of bullshit by the Court of Owls so they could prop him up and feed him these lies?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing you have to remember about the ending of the Court of Owls is that the people who you see dead at the table, who drank the poisoned wine via Lincoln March, they are not the entirety of the court.
Of course not.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, there are still plenty of other members out there who will keep this thing going. And the idea is that they will rebuild, they will refocus, and they will come back.
Yeah, like a good threat.
Like a good threat. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, this, to my knowledge, is the only good Court of Owls story. They have come back in subsequent stories that have not been as good.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, how do you follow that up, dude? Because Lincoln March is dope. Such a cool concept.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he's Lincoln March or Thomas Wayne the Jr., who knows,
Right. Yeah. But that is, guys, essentially the story of the Court of Owls. Again, so now, hopefully you guys understand why this is such a staple Batman story, a modern-day classic Batman story. It has, hate to sound like a damn movie critic, but it's got action, it's got suspense, it's got detective work. Yeah, it's got moxie, kid. It's got kind of everything that you would want from a good Batman story.
Yeah.
With that being said, Kevin, I just want to take just a moment or two to talk about your expectations from this video game.
So in reading that story, they're going to pick and choose a lot. And sadly, my first instinct is what they're going to pick and choose rather than telling the same story. You've seen the video games do it time and time again. And I'm curious how they're going to handle the idea of Lincoln March. Because in this telling of the story, he's awesome. He's the centerpiece. He's the calendar man that puts the long Halloween together, Yeah. Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's tricky because I feel like they're going to go for the dramatic but dumb reveal that it was Bruce Wayne being controlled by the Court of Owls, who was the Lincoln March.
Yeah. I can definitely see them going that route.
I hope they don't. I hope they just leave Bruce out of it. But then it's like, who do you get to experience the trippy labyrinth?
So that's the thing. I don't even know if they put that in here.
No, put it in. Put the fucking thing in.
Here's why I say that. It's because if they put the tricky labyrinth in it, it needs to be Dick Grayson who experiences it.
Yeah.
Because Dick Grayson, he has familial ties to the Court of Owls.
True.
I mean, fucking the main talent for like the first 3/4 of the story is his great granddad.
Or do you put someone more unstable in there on purpose? Do you put Jason Todd in there? And then with the reveal later that it's Dick Grayson and his fam that's a part of the fucking Court of Owls and that he's been fucking breaded for this shit, creating the divination within the family.
That's sharp.
That's a guitar pick dropping on the That's I'm not dropping the mic; it's too expensive. But I'll drop a pick. But yeah, dude, that could be money.
Yeah.
But man, you got to go on faith and put the fucking like laced owl water limestone hall,
right?
Trippy Labyrinth. Yeah. So cool, man.
It is, man. And it's like, and this comes back to marketing. And I know with the big budget video game, there's no way that you can avoid, letting people know that the Court of Owls is in it. But it would have been really cool if you didn't know the Court of Owls was in this game until you played it.
Right, like you got the idea that it's just like Mr. Freeze and Penguin or some shit.
Yeah, because we know that Harley Quinn is going to be in it as a villain, which I'm glad to see her as a villain again.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Kelly Cuoco. It's an awesome show, but yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. Clayface is going to be in it. Mr. Freeze, Penguin. Those are the confirmed villains. But man, like how cool would it have been to like just think, oh, okay, Mr. Freeze is like the big bad, and Bruce is dead, and that's all we know.
Yep.
And then go into the game and maybe find little breadcrumbs, little clues. Mm-hmm. Or you remember that part in Arkham Knights where you're flying around Gotham and out of nowhere you get attacked by Man-Bat?
Yes.
How cool would it be if you were just trying to get to another mission, you get attacked by a Talon?
Dude, look at this Riddler trophy over here, just gliding through the air. Oh! What the hell, man?
What the shit? God.
Gonna chase this fucker around my Batmobile.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I'm afraid that this game will make the mistake that like subsequent Court of Owls stories have made, and that is they trivialized the Talons. Instead of making them like this super uber threat that just became kind of like
henchmen.
Yeah.
Lame. Yeah.
Anyone can beat them easily. Just
Like have normal ass henchmen, just like common thugs who do anything for a dime, or a dime sack. But then it's like have these guys be like the big baddie mini bosses.
Yeah.
Have these guys be like oh fuck, I'm getting chased by this guy. I'm not outfitted to fight him yet.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I really, really enjoy the fact that this game is going to be co-op.
Yeah, so fucking cool.
And that they have like different skill trees and like different play styles,
Dibs on Jason Todd.
Yes, indeed. You have dibs on Jason Todd.
Good. I call it dibs. You homies holding. You homies hurt me.
I'm gonna edit that part out so now no
motherfucker. Dibs on Jason Todd.
I don't know who I want to play as yet, man. Like just to see if they do anything with the spectacle, I might do most of it as Dick. Just to see if they play on that at all.
Right.
And
then I probably want to be Batgirl next.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play as Dick, we need another experience. So
oh hell yeah.
That means you gotta play as Tim.
Oh, I love Tim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play as Tim. I wanted to play as the others.
I love them all. I've gone through cycles. I was like, I'm gonna play as Batgirl. Now I'm gonna play as Tim. Now I'm gonna play as Dick now. And it's like I've gone through these cycles since the game has been announced.
Notice you didn't say Jason Todd.
I didn't because I knew that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you called dibs, and then also like the homie Tame called dibs on Jason. So I'm like, yeah, okay, you know what?
Hell yeah, we know what's up.
Like, if you find y'all get the fucking CTE crowbar broken Robin, I will be
the most jacked Robin. See that motherfucker?
He is extraordinarily built in this video game.
He really is. He's got some mass on him now. Like what the hell, man?
Right. I will say this. I do not like his mode of transportation. He has like this mystical jump that he does.
That's weird. Yeah,
it is very
like
weird.
The Lazarus pit jump or whatever they're going to call it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was taken from like the weirdest part of like his own New 52 run. I'm like, we could have done anything else,
Yeah, like literally give him bat boots or some shit, like they're moon boots.
Yeah, or fucking.
You remember those moon boots?
I never owned a pair, but yes.
Me neither.
Yeah.
What a weird shoe.
I would have hurt myself if I had those, probably.
Probably me too.
But yeah, I think that everybody should have received like similar modes of transportation. Honestly, like making it that different, I think is kind of detrimental to a degree because everyone across the board agrees that Jason Todd's mystic jump is kind of weird bullshit.
Yeah. I get you're trying to be different, and that's valuable. But don't try to be different.
Right. I mean, everybody has grappling hooks. Everybody.
Yeah, and this is an understood fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not just grapple hook everywhere? I mean, Batgirl, she's probably the easiest just because she has a cape, so she can do the Batman glide.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a pre-saved mechanic.
right? Yeah, it's tried and true. Also, the reason I might play as Babs is because apparently she has the gameplay most similar to Batman.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And she also has like the Bat Pod, the Bat Bike. So I'm like,
that's a win.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a fucking win.
Well, Jason's got guns.
Jason does have guns, and apparently you can choose like 2 different play styles for each character.
Okay.
So I know you can go like the gun build.
Okay.
And I forget what this other one is. Probably just fucking brawler brute, something like that. But yeah. Other than that, man, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. You know, I hope it's great. I know that with the gameplay mechanics, for those of you who have played the other Arkham games, it will not be the same kind of combat. So for better or for worse, I don't know. But we'll see. It's going to be a different style of combat. It's going to be more action RPG, whereas the Arkham games are more, open world action games.
Could be cool.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Looking forward to it, though.
Me too.
Kevin, do you have anything else on the Court of Owls and or Gotham Knights?
I'm just excited, man. Do we have a release date for the game yet?
Yes, October 21st is the release date. So about 2.5 weeks. Yeah, about 2.5, 3 weeks from this recording, the game will be out. And you better believe we will be reviewing it once we put a little bit of time into it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But that's going to be a fun one. It'll be a real fun one.
Agreed, dude. That's going to be really fun. We're going to play multiplayer online Batman together, bro.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be dope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, and then I promise we'll go. But one thing that I don't like, and I don't like this in any co-op game, where and they're putting this mechanic in this game as well, where like you and I can both play as the same character.
Nah, don't let us do that.
No.
Be dicks.
It breaks the immersion completely.
It does.
Yeah.
Let us be different.
Right.
We understand the cost.
When I play like the Arkham games or like the Spider-Man games, I feel like I'm playing as Spider-Man and Batman,
Yeah.
That's the point of the immersion factor. I don't want to break that immersion by seeing like another fucking, Red Hood or Nightwing running around. No. Fuck no. And not unless it's Clayface. And then in that case, I gotta kick his ass.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the game is great. But that would be all for this one. Homies, let us know what you guys think of the Court of Owls. Hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo. I was also going to hootie hoo, but you interrupted me. Hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo.
Worth it.
Oh. But that would be all for this one, homies. We will see you guys next time. Next time, guys, we'll be reviewing Marvel's Werewolf by Night Halloween special. I am actually really looking forward to seeing this thing. It is definitely going to be by far the most unique and different thing from the MCU. And so yeah, hopefully it delivers, man. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And that comes out this Friday. But that will be all for now, homies. We will see you guys again next time. But until then, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And I am Superhero Homie Kevin.